The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark.
Glory to you, O Lord.
One of the scribes came to Jesus and asked him, "Which is the first of all the commandments?" Jesus replied, "The first is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is Lord alone. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: You shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these." The scribe said to him, "Well said, teacher. You are right in saying he is one and there is no other than he, and to love him with all your heart, with all your understanding, with all your strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself is worth more than all burnt offerings and sacrifices." When Jesus saw that, he answered with understanding. He said to him, "You are not far from the kingdom of God." And no one dared to ask him any more questions. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
What Jesus has done in today's Gospel is he's taking two different books from the Old Testament Pentateuch, and he's put them together. The first is the fundamental proclamation of Judaism, that God is one and God is to be loved. Now, we take that for granted. We say, of course. But there was a time when people feared God. They were afraid of God's punishment and retribution. The relationship that pagans had with their gods was not a loving relationship. It was a quid pro quo. I'll give you a turtle dove and you heal my hand. That's the way it works. There's no love and mercy involved with the pagan gods. So this revolution has come, revelation, that leads us to love the divine. And the second one is from Leviticus. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. You cannot have one without the other because God dwells in each of us. And so when you're loving your neighbor, you are loving the God in them as well as them. We engage other people encountering God. It's at the center of everyone. So we love ourselves and we love our neighbor. And sometimes that loving of self, that can be a challenge too, because we do really dumb things. And we remember them. And they kick around in our memory, and we think that we're not a good person when really we are. And so loving ourselves can be a challenge, to take care of yourself, to nurture your soul, to love the very center of you where you meet God. I am called to seek for others the same possibilities that I seek for myself. I am called to a mindfulness of my neighbor's needs, well enough that I can know their struggles so that they can become my struggles too, in an ever-growing circle of care and concern. In the religion of Buddhism, which has many connections with Christianity and Catholicism, the primary indicator of the highest stage of enlightenment for a Buddhist is the perfection of compassion and mercy. That is the sign of enlightenment. And the Dalai Lama writes, "From my own experience, I have found that the greatest degree of inner tranquility comes from the development of mercy and compassion. The more you care about others, the more you develop this mercy, this inner tranquility and peace." And that's backed up by the latest scientific discoveries. that demonstrate the link between compassion and happiness. Research shows that depression and anxiety are linked to a state of self-focus. You're preoccupied with your problems, me, myself, and I'm not good enough, or it's all in you. And what that does is it cuts you off from being able to relate to others. In an experiment at the University of North Carolina, they showed that in 7 weeks, the participants did a daily conscious act of compassion. Didn't matter what it was. Doesn't matter. Open the door for someone. That counts. Participants were found to have significantly increased life satisfaction and reduced depressive symptoms. A compassionate lifestyle leads to greater psychological well-being. Jesus was a good psychologist, if anything else. He knew that by reaching out to others, that's the key to our happiness. Now, on another topic, I don't get out that much. I'm kind of going through my monkish phase, but I heard there's a presidential election. Is that right? The presidential election happening? It's like, oh, Father, can we talk about that now? I just want you to go out to vote. And when you do, bring this gospel with you. This is what we want to be. This is who we are. You vote for the person who is going to represent your highest virtues and ideals, even if we don't achieve them. Vote for the person who loves well, and we'll all be fine.